All right, let's make sure we have cameras up, everybody. Managers, let's reach around. We've got cameras. We've got groups watching. We have viewing parties going on. Giselle Ortiz, welcome. Chloe from Clearwater, welcome. Taylor Rosenthal, welcome. Natalia Bravo, buenos dias, actually. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Sammy B from the Pilot, welcome. The Tampa Hub. Oh, you got to see this. Look at this. You got to see the Tampa Hub. Number one
Tampa
team for SC2. Jeez Louise. Look at that.
Woo.
Welcome, welcome. To all our people in Puerto Rico, welcome. West Coast of Florida, welcome. South Florida, welcome. Central Florida, welcome. And all the random cities and states you fools live in across the country, again, welcome. We have a Boca Babes Hub. Welcome to the Boca Babes Hub. Hey. Hey. Okay, welcome. Welcome to all the gamers with their amazing chairs, microphones, and headphones to supplement. We've got a few videos not up. We're going to boot people without videos in just a short moment. So now's your time to get that up before Andrew Evans and I kick off conference inviting champions. Let's go, everybody. Managers, reach out. We got another 30 seconds before we cut videos. If they're not video up, we're going to kick them off. I won't call names, but I shall if I have to. Adrian Cora, little viewing party, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Conference for Champions in the house. Here we go. Outstanding. Yes, 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 yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say, let me shut the music off here. I want to say welcome to our Conference for Champions. And before we get rolling, take 30 seconds to prep yourself. Take 30 seconds to let everyone know where you're from. So take a moment to rename what office you're from. So we'll go office, first name, last initial, per usual. And let's make sure that you guys, as always, on Florida Coast and Florida Caribbean, observing proper Zoom etiquette. So make sure you let people know around you you're on a professional meeting. And I want to start off before we get rolling to say that both Andrew and I are very excited, very blessed, very enthusiastic about having both our Florida Coast and Florida Caribbean teams together. So with that being said, I want to kick off and I want to say welcome. My name is Jeff Gamboa. I'm the proud division manager of our Florida Caribbean team. And we're here today on the 13th of August to really celebrate our champions. We're here to talk about the victories. We're here to celebrate our acceptances for TLA. And we're here to really kick off what's going to be an unbelievable finish to the year as we chase multiple silver cups, whether it's rep, office, divisional, and of course, it's the case with our Eastern region team. Again, I want to welcome you to Conference for Champions. You know, this conference has been promoted in so many different ways. And I just want to tell you that what's so exciting for me every single year, and I've been running Conference for Champions since 2002 when I ran my first one. And I can just tell you, it's just different. It's a different feel. It's an exciting opportunity for you to grow and learn professional and personal development. I also want to encourage you to see this with a new set of eyes. I've been to the division meetings, Jeff. I've gone to Andrew's SC1 kickoff. I've been to SC2. And you know what? Check on all three, and that's awesome. But what's so interesting, what's so exciting, what is such an opportunity-based moment for you is what you do from Summer Conference of Champions on for the rest of the year. We've got a great lineup, which we'll talk about, but I want to kick things off by introducing our opening comments, our initial speaker, my friend, my colleague, and fellow division manager, Mr. Andrew Evans. And I'll let him get his screen up in just a short moment. You know, Mr. Andrew Evans, it's interesting, Andrew. I was looking through and I tried to calculate when you started. And you know someone has been with the company. You know someone has been with the company for a good solid bit when it's not as easy to give that answer, right? I think of being a rep. I think of being an assistant manager in the West Palm Beach area. I think of Andrew Evans making his way up through the pilot. Many of you don't know this, but Andrew was an assistant manager in my pilot office. And he used to travel an hour. I'll be conservative. minimum an hour, sometimes more, each way from Jupiter, Florida, all the way to Fort Lauderdale. And he was working 6 days a week as a full-time assistant. And he went on to run 3 championship branches, set the all-time branch record each time, cut through college for sure, and was able to secure these unbelievable job opportunities. And I think that's why he's such a great ambassador for not just our company, but specifically today, what we'll talk about, Cutco Through College Leadership Academy. You know, one of the things I love about Andrew is just watching him progress through the company ladder, if you will. So the track record of him progressing as a student, okay, was also no different than as he progressed as a post-college grad, making his way up the ranks as a top district manager. And here we are today celebrating him as a division coordinator, the newest division coordinator to our team, leading our Florida Coast division. So I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. I hope you have your notes out. I hope you're ready to post light bulbs on your group chat. I hope if you're computer savvy, especially managers, you're ready to shift command 5 and screenshot some great screenshots. Great pictures rather of Andrew's slideshow posted on your group chats. Here to kick off our Conference for Champions, I give to our division leader over on the coast, building the coast, Mr. Andrew Evans. Let's do some snaps, some claps, and some gangster daps for Mr. Andrew Evans.
Oh yeah,
Thank you,
Jeff, for kicking things off and getting me introed here. Yeah, I got a little chills when you said I don't know, when I thought back to my first summer in management as an assistant manager. And even though that was not my most fun summer in my career, it really, it's kind of exciting for me to look back and reflect just how much has happened since that time period. And also what I did to it early on in my career to really help myself stand out. That was the first time where I really started getting on Jeff's radar was that summer. And the relationship ensued. So I'm excited to be able to kick things off. I want to welcome you all to our CFC Conference for Champions. I know some of you all, there's a wide variety of people on this call right now. We have some people that, by the way, raise your hand. Give us a little hand raise on the Zoom screen. If you just started with job in the past couple weeks, like the past 2 or 3 weeks, you just started brand new, basically first conference, first event ever. We want to welcome you. From both of our divisions, welcome you guys to the Florida Coast and the Florida Caribbean divisions. We're truly excited to have you guys here at our wrap-up event for the summertime. Some of you all, if you've been here, raise your hand. Actually, raise your hand if you were here at SC1. Like SC1, you've been here for SC1, SC2. Now keep your hand raised if you were here at SC1 kickoff. Some of you don't even know what that is. If you don't know what these are, then you weren't around for it. SC1 kickoff meeting, very beginning of the summer. Who is... Let's see here. I'm looking through the Zooms here. Yeah. I want to welcome you guys as well here too. We have some different people coming all across and different managers. And it's been a phenomenal summer, and I'm excited to be able to kick off this event. I also really want to recognize this group right here. And I wish I could do this in a different format than Zoom, outside of just telling you guys to raise your hands and raise and wave to the camera. But if you are on an assistant manager in one of our offices this summer, go ahead and take your hand, wave around the camera screen, and everyone else go ahead and give them some snaps, give them some claps, give them some gangster daps. Okay, this group, and I really want to recognize you guys for a second. We talked about it. We talked about it in our kickoff meeting this morning. I mean, the assistant manager team, in my opinion, is one of the most important groups of people. They are the district office performances that you see. You know, the assistant managers are the gears that are inside that car. They are what is making that ship move and bustle. And a lot of times, you know, it's the district manager or the branch manager. There's the name that's on the report. You know, they're the name that everybody sees. And obviously that person has a lot of influence over the results of that office as well. But I really want to give a strong applaud to our assistant managers. Being an AM, you know, it takes a lot of work. Sometimes you go unrecognized. There's obviously a lot of perks for doing so, and it's been really exciting to see some of y'all that are really making the most out of your assistant manager experience this summer. But whether you're in the Florida Caribbean or Florida Coast division, we just want to give you some recognition, and thank you all for all of the hard work that you put in this summer. And I'm sure also a lot of our representatives on our team would be able to say the same thing about you, and they would not be here if it wasn't for you and the leadership that you've shown this summer too. So welcome to you all, and I want to welcome you all and introduce you all to our management team here. So coming in from the Florida Coast team, we're going to recognize our branch manager team, which is these are all college students that have taken the leap, if you will, and open up their own offices with the company during the summertime. So they're on the tail end. We're getting ready to close things down. A lot of them are going back to school here in a short bit, but I want to recognize our Florida Coast branch managers, Mason Linker, top 20 or top 10 nationally ranked branches right now. Lindsay Holstrom in our Spring Hill office. Alex Arias, 2 times branch manager from this past summer, and now district manager on our team. Congratulations on your promotion there, Alex. Jonathan Castell, branch manager in Doral, Florida. Audrey Cruz, branch manager in Ocala, Florida. And then I want to introduce you guys to our Florida Coast leadership team. So this is our current district manager team. And I love that these slides, they're not even updated yet because it doesn't reflect everyone. And he'll be on the next slide. But to our 2 district managers as of today, technically also is on September as your promotion here, September 1st. So as of today, our 2 district managers are Mike Abramowitz over in the Tampa office and Ayla Scuevas representing our Clearwater organization. And I also want to recognize our pilot sales manager from Metro Miami, Adrian Arredondo. He's been our pilot sales manager since the beginning of this year, and he's done a phenomenal job. I want to take a quick second. I won't take too long to introduce Jeff. I'll introduce Jeff, I think, a little bit later before he speaks. But, I'm going to share a little bit of my story here a little bit later and some of the lessons that I feel like we've learned from this summer. And, one of the things that I'll tell you guys is that it's easy to take for granted the leadership that you guys have here. It's easy to take for granted the opportunity to work with, Jeff Gamboa. I was on a call with somebody, another top performing manager in the company. And I remember when I was a branch manager doing really crazy numbers and putting up crazy results, I thought to myself, I couldn't imagine having done that and not having the support that I had from my division manager, Jeff Gamboa, at the time. You guys are working with someone that is a truly phenomenal leader, is one of the best in the company. Like, he's going to give you guys a message today on public speaking. Okay, literally one of, if not the best public speaker in the company. That's who you guys are getting a chance to learn an opportunity to grow from. And it's not just that. It's not just his skill set. It's not just the fact that he's one of the experts, one of the best at what he does. It's just that Jeff's not known for being the best. Jeff's not known for being the top performer. Jeff's known for being having one of the biggest hearts and being someone that truly cares about people and deeply desires and always puts other people first. That's what Jeff Gamboa is known for. And he just so happens to be the top performer, one of the best public speakers. And, you can list off his stats down the bean row, and has developed more, managers and leaders than anyone in the company. So if you're working in the Florida Caribbean division, you're truly working with one of the best of the best. And so don't take that for granted here. I also want to introduce you to our Florida Caribbean branch and district manager team. So coming in our Naples office, Marley Lewin. Also, I don't even think I'm going to miss all the ranks here too, but also another top 20 ranked branch, Lanis Cruzado in Port Charlotte, Florida, Christina Fernandez in Ponce, and Alejandra Carrasco and Humacao, and our Puerto Rico offices branch team, also both top 20 branch performers here. Roberto Rodriguez, also September promotion to district manager from the Florida Caribbean side, back over to the Florida Coast side here too, but also know one of our branch managers in Palmetto Bay. In our Florida Caribbean team, we also have our Patricia Amador in Fort Myers, Claudia Badilla in San Juan. We have our Orlando Biesing in Fort Myers, and now is running the Aventura office. And then finally, David Vargas in our San Juan, Puerto Rico office with our district manager team, as well as the Luke Maseko and our Boca Raton and South Palm Beach office. And finally, last but not least, our pilot sales manager from Fort Lauderdale. Let's give a round of applause, some snaps, claps, and daps to our BM, DM, and pilot sales manager leadership team. Thank you for all your hard work this summer and all the ways that you guys have shown up. So I want to go ahead and get things started, and I want to kick off my opening comments for today with a little bit of a story. And I want to tell you guys the story of the Florida United Division. And I think it's funny too, because a lot of y'all might not realize this, but this event is kind of like symbolic in a lot of ways, because, up until this is like the final, cut off from the umbilical cord of our 2 divisions. And we'll still do events together. And you like that analogy? We'll still do events.
I really like that analogy.
We'll still do lots of events together. We're going to have some sort of we'll have events in the fall, and we'll do a lot of things together as a division. We will still be a united division. But what I want to share with you guys is that I'll give you guys a little bit of the history and the background on how these two divisions that are now, you combine them and are a power force to be reckoned with across the company. But it started off I remember in 2017, what I'm showing you right now, this is not a recap. This was a forecast, not a recap, but a forecast. Jeff had this list of exactly what was going to happen over the next couple of years in 2017. And I remember him and having a conversation with myself and Luke, and we were talking about, hey, if we do things the right way, if we really have our best, like if we do things and set it up right now, next year could be like not just a good year, but like an epic year, like almost hard to think about. Next year could be epic. We could have an epic division. And that is exactly what happened in 2018. And in 2018, what happened is Jeff ended up taking over two divisions. Basically, we were running two divisions as one, and we came together as a united division and had what was truly an outstanding and epic performance. Lots of silver cups, lots of $1 million years, and lots of exciting top branch manager performance as well. And then after doing that in 2018, after being top performers in almost every single category, after being the lead division, after having an epic year, we said, hey, we're not done yet. We're going to scale this out to the rest of the company. Now we're going to take what we did, we're going to take what we've grown, what we've built, and we're going to scale it out to where our programs and all the things that we're doing. When someone wants to sell Cutco at a high level, they look at South Florida and say, hey, what are they doing down there? That's what we need to model. And that's exactly what we did. And then fast forward, a couple years later, now we're at 2020, and we talked about being the hotbed of recruiting talent. The hotbed of talent. Well, between the Florida Coast and Florida Caribbean divisions, I think we just interviewed about 200 candidates for our leadership academy across both divisions. And I can tell you guys from the top down, this really is the hotbed of talent. We have more district manager candidates and branch manager candidates than we have spots for. We have more people that are hungry and excited, and that's a positive problem to have. This is the hotbed of talent. In fact, it's become such a hotbed of talent that we had to split it off into two separate divisions again, so that it can allow each division to be able to flourish and grow, because there's truly so many incredible pillar, pound for pound, top performing managers in each of these divisions, and it's been exciting to watch. 2020 was the year for us, and we talked about our 2020 vision, which was kind of the hashtag, if you will, going into the year. Luke Maseko is the co-host on our podcast, Ace Weekly Podcast. We had something called our 2020 Ace Weekly Blueprint. And I think there was a lot of focus this past year in our business in Cutco, and also some of y'all started this summer, and you might have even heard some stuff of this. A lot of the world was focused, hey, how do we make 2020 one of the best years? How do we have 2020 vision? How do we make really get clear on what it is that we want and what it is that we desire? So, and I think about some of the lessons from 2020. I think about, hey, 2020 vision and the fact that things don't always unfold how you expect them to. Things don't always happen exactly like this. Was a year where we were going to get more clear. And this is a photo of our management team that we took back in January this past year, which seems like so far long ago. And little did most of the people, I don't think anyone actually could have known all the stuff that was going to happen over the next 4 or 5 or 6 months coming out of this photo. But alas, they happened anyways. And, I thought I'd share this. It is ironic that in the year 2020, no one appears to have 2020 vision. I'll throw a couple different memes in here for there too. But yeah, look, I get it. At 2020, it was like, there's one thing, and then it was the next thing, and then it was the next thing, and then it was the next thing, and it was the next thing after that, right? I don't even have enough time to show this whole slide so you can read all the things that are on the on the list here too. But I think the first lesson that I really took away from 2020 as I reflect back on the summer and this year is that, number one, happens. Okay. Things happen, or replace another word in there, if you will. So, but guys, things happen, you might have had a plan for your SC2 push, and then you went out, and then boom, my queue got deleted. I have no more contacts, and then went out, and boom, my parents told me they're not helping me out with anything financially. They're not going to give me any more names and numbers. I went out, and then boom, my laptop broke, and I had to buy a new one. I went out and boom, I bought a hotel for myself to stay in for a couple weeks so I could hit my goal, and I did it. you know, whatever it was. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's happened during the push, and some of it's been your own life, some of it's been in the world, whatever. But I think the first thing is that you have to understand, like, it happens. Things happen. You know, you're going to go to school this fall. You might be taking classes virtually 1 week. The next week, they're telling you to come to class, everyone in person. The next week, you're back virtually. Who knows? I don't know. Things happen, you know. But what's most important, guys, is not what happens. It's how you respond to what happens, you know. And I think during like this time period, I think another thing that we got to see from our standpoint, you know, our company, a lot of you all might not realize this, but just so you know, none of this was virtual before. You know, before summer 2020, ironically enough, we didn't do really anything virtually. Everything was in person. Everything was live. You know, there wasn't a virtual training. There wasn't a virtual interview. There wasn't a virtual bunch of anything, you know. But I think it was what really gave me a lot of confidence, as even in my position and role as a division manager. I oftentimes hear people talk about, you know, job security, right? And job security. I think sometimes if you ever become a recruiter here, one thing that you'll hear when you recruit people for the Cutco job, you have something, well, no, I want something that's like steady and safe and secure, right? That's a lot of times what people hear when they graduate. Well, I want a job that's like, it's really safe and guaranteed. Well, the reality, guys, is nothing is safe. Nothing's guaranteed. Your guaranteed job has a guaranteed pay unless they go out of business. And it's not guaranteed anymore. That company wants out of business, you lost your job. You're going to get furloughed or get, you know, laid off. And it gave me a lot of, I guess, I felt like I had a strong sense of job security and job confidence during that moment when that happened. Because when most other people were really, and I'm just saying this from personal example, when most other people were kind of freaking out and really worried, like, am I going to lose my job? When do I get to go back to work? You know, am I not going to make, is these paychecks going to keep coming in? You know, is my company going to make it through this financial crisis? You know, I gained more confidence during that time period. I gained the opportunity to say, like, hey, wow, like, not only because I know, hey, in Vector, I have a piece of that control and I can control my destiny, right? But also, hey, I get a chance to watch the leadership of the company, our CEOs, our executives, our region managers, and how they responded. And they responded in true Vector spirit. You know, they responded with, hey, we had this adversity, and just like we've learned in all the other years and all the other pushes in our lives and all the other times we've had adversity, we're going to overcome it and we're going to find a way. And in fact, not only are we going to find a way, but we're going to find a way to use this to come out better on the other side. And I think during times of uncertainty, during times of crisis, it really gives you an opportunity to kind of truly see people's true character. You know, people, when everything's fine and dandy, you know, it's easy for people to be nice. It's easy for people to be respectful. It's easy for people to be good leaders when everyone's just doing their job. You know, when there's not pressure, when people's lives or health or things like that aren't on the line. And it's really important to see when there's times of crisis, how do people respond? How do your leaders respond? And most importantly, how did you respond this summer? You know, how did you respond? When all this stuff started happening, right? How did you respond? When you had adversity this summer on your demos, on your appointments, how did you respond? And I think one of the other big lessons from this year is the power of perspective. You know, the power of perspective. I talk about this quite a bit. I think I shared this at like one of the alliances, but it's a power of perspective. Power of perspective is the easiest example is, you know, you have the story of the two sons, and these two sons, they both grew up with the same dad. They had an alcoholic father, and they grew up their whole lives watching them. And their dad eventually passed away from his addiction. And, you know, they both grew up. One went on and lived his life and went on to become an alcoholic. And one went on and lived his life and became really, really successful, uber successful at what he was doing. You know, they asked both the sons, they said, hey, you know, you're like, you're an alcoholic. Your life kind of like didn't go the right direction I wanted. Like, what's the reason for that? What happened? And he said, well, you know, my dad was an alcoholic. I just spent my whole life watching my dad, you know? And that's what he said. Then they asked the other son, hey, you grew up to be super successful, super passionate about what you're doing. Like, what happened? And he's like, well, my dad was an alcoholic, and growing up, I just like watched my dad. You know, same story, same situation, essentially same people, different perspectives, you know, and people can go through the same moments in time, the same experiences, and have completely different perspectives. Do things happen, you know, to me, or do things happen for me? And so the power of perspective, I think during quarantine, right? A lot of people, and you just need to look around. This quarantine, this whole pandemic, this has been whatever people wanted it to be for them. It has been. Whatever people wanted the pandemic to be for them was what they got. You know, the people that wanted finally an excuse to like buckle down, work hard, not have distractions, go out there, start that online business, start that online company and make a lot of money, they did that. You know, for the people that, you know, that wasn't really a focus of theirs, or they were afraid or nervous about money, like this was like the reason, the pandemic was the reason why they lost all this money. Versus some people, this was the whole reason why they're going to become rich, was because of this pandemic, right? Certain people, you know, the pandemic, and you can see both sides. The pandemic was the reason why they're not in shape anymore, is because of quarantine and gyms being closed, and I haven't been able to work out as much. And the pandemic, you know, I'm losing my body shape. And other people, I've seen tons of people that I know have had the biggest and best transformations of their entire lives. And this quarantine, this little pandemic, is what kicked them into what has been the biggest and strongest health journey of their entire lives over the past 3 or 4 months. They have used this time to create transformation for themselves, you know, but like not everyone's on one side or the other. What's your story? You know, power perspective, family time, right? Family, it's like one or the other. It's like, this is the reason why you're like the pandemic and all this stuff. This is the reason why you've finally gotten closer to people that you haven't been as close with for years. You've been spending more quality time with them. You've been going outside more. You've been connecting more. Or this is the reason why there's fighting and arguments and problems and challenge and strife in your family and all your relationships too. You know, but I think, and you can take it family, business, fitness, relationships, money, whatever it is. But, you know, it ultimately is the power of perspective. And when I ask you, what's your story? You know, what's your story? What's your story this summer? What's the story you've been telling yourself? And what's going to be your story coming out of this event? You know, what's going to be your story coming out today is what was your experience this summer? And it's the reason why what? You know, because you can always use what's around you as the reason why. But what happens after that the end of that sentence is what's most important. You know, I think about power of perspective. Perspectives change. Times have changed. You know, you think about like what it was like in the 90s, like online dating. Think about online dating in the 90s. You guys can't even think about that because half of y'all weren't alive then. Well, it was weird. And it was almost like even till 2010, I mean, this, like, I don't know, the stuff was kind of like, you know, online dating. My mom asked me the other day, she's like, have you ever tried online dating? You know, I was like, what? Jeff Gamboa, you know, found his wife on online dating, right? And previously you could say, well, there's no way. Like if you heard those people were talking online virtually for 2 years and then met up and got married, you'd be like, that is weird, dude. These people just met, been talking online for 2 years and met. Well, guess what? We've been talking online. Some of y'all I still haven't met. And we've been talking online all summer long. You know, they might say, hey, it's hard. You can't build a connection with people if you're not in front of them. Well, maybe if that's your story. You know, but in fact, I saw a lot of people, like I had this photo up there too, which is now they were in person. I'm putting you guys in the spot yet. But I don't think, you know, any of these people in this photo really knew each other that well beforehand, or they maybe have knew of each other. But, you know, like you're seeing people that have never met before in virtual settings, and they're getting a chance now to connect in real person. You know, I think about a long summer of quarantining and getting, you know, our entire group back together this past week. We had to go take out our SE2 winning championship team to a restaurant I like in the area too. But I think there's a lot of things that we can reflect back and look on and see all the things and and think about our alliance. And I think the questions that you want to ask yourself is, what's your story? And what's going to be your story coming out of this? You know, is this the finale for you, this event, the finale for the summer, or is this the beginning of your journey? Is this the beginning? Is this event the event that you can look back to and say, man, on August 13th, that Thursday, like that's when things shifted for me. That's when I had showed up the whole entire summer one way, and I decided, you know what? If I get to TLA today, like I'm going to show up a different way. I'm not going to be the last run of the pack. I'm going to lead that group. You know, I'm going to start to get and tackle some of the stuff that I've been saying I'm going to do, but I keep procrastinating and doing. And what's your story? And I can tell you what, here in the Florida Coast and the Florida Caribbean divisions, you know, what we're really excited about is creating the story of 5-star recruits, creating the stories of people that go on to graduate from college with not just, you know, a job, like not going on the great American job search and cross their fingers, you know, and hoping that they get a job, but going out and making a list of the companies that they want to interview. You know, they're interviewing them, they're interviewing the companies, not the companies interviewing them, you know. My excitement, I think about, you know, graduating with $100,000 saved. And it's not about money. I get that. But like Look, most people won't ever save that much money in their lives. When you can do that in college, you're setting yourself up at a trajectory point that you're getting yourself on a platform to jump off, like that college jump, and you're not going out and chasing a job. You can chase a dream. You can actually do what you're passionate about because you're not worried about, well, what if I have to move back home and I can't pay my bills and everything else like that, and I got all this debt. No, you're graduating with money saved. And being a 5-star recruit, that's going to look different for the med school student than it does from the business student than it does from an XYZ student. But all of them are going to have some of the same foundational skills. And that's why this event is really exciting for me, because where we teach those skills is the Leadership Academy. And we're going to be able to announce, me and Jeff have just spent the past 2 weeks touring around Florida and Puerto Rico, both in person and virtually. And we've gotten a chance to sit down with a lot of candidates. And, I really want to encourage you guys that if you get into TLA, if you get into the Leadership Academy today, I want you to make the most out of it. And I want you to make the most out of your experience, like it's the same thing. That what's your story? Power of perspective. You all are here right now. Some of you all are going to get to TLA today. And guess what? Do you remember your initial training class? You remember that weird kid that was on the Zoom that's no longer here anymore? Do you remember that one person in the team meeting that just always was there for like 3 or 4 weeks but never turned their camera on? And eventually they just aren't here anymore? They sat through the same meetings. They heard the same talks. They got the same lessons. They had on the same alliance meetings. But their story coming out of their experience with their summer is different than your story. And you got to tell yourself and ask yourself, what's my story? Right? So let's talk about how to maximize the event and how to get the most out of today. I think first thing, number one, I want to make sure that you guys are 100% engaged. That you're 100% engaged. And it's easy. Like I said, I think at this point in time, now you guys are going to get different content today, but the 3 questions that I always have people write down is, hey, have I heard this before? Like, rather than ask yourself number one, the first question is, have I heard this before? Which is where a lot of people ask that question. Oh, I've already heard this before, Well, if you find yourself asking that question or going, oh, I've already heard this. If you haven't heard it, great. Shut up, take some notes, listen. If you have heard it, the second question you want to ask, though, is like, hey, not have I heard this before, is, am I doing this? Yeah, I've heard this before. Am I doing this? And by the way, if the answer is yes, I've heard it before, and no, I'm not doing it, well, maybe the second question you should ask is, why am I still not doing this? Right? That's probably the better question to ask here. But hey, I've heard this before. Am I doing this? Here's the third question, future TLA leadership acceptances. Can I teach this? Could I teach this right now? That's the last question you want to be asking. It always blows my mind when me as a division manager, when I'm taking more notes on a talk than the sales rep is, it's a problem. Okay, because I could get up there and teach that. I'm actually taking notes on the execution of how that person is speaking and teaching the concept and material so I could teach it better the next time, right? Like, I know the material itself, but are you understanding that there's always another level? And there's an opportunity to be 100% engaged today as we go into our final event here too. I think about other ways to maximize the event is, what are you doing out of the event? Yes, this is our finale summer event, but there's still 2.5 weeks left of the summer. Are you going to be hitting dirty 30 before you go into the school year in the fall? Are you going to be getting up into the 50% range and making that half baby mark? Are you going to be getting a letter recommendation? By the way, 10K in sales for the summer will get you into the President's Club. Are you going to be getting a letter recommendation from the CEO of our company? I think number 27th CEO in North America ranked last year by Business Insider and Forbes. That stuff helps. I would want that on my college applications or my resumes or internships that I'm applying for in the future, but you've got 2 weeks, 3 weeks to make it happen. Fight to finish off strong here. And I want to leave you guys with this. I think at this point in time, hopefully throughout your experience this summer, you've had some light bulb moments. You've had some ahas or something like that could have been me, or that could be me, all right, or that really stuck with me, or I'm going to make sure I take this into my next demo, whatever it is. Hopefully we've been able to create some light bulb moments for you. And one big moment for me, I remember, is Vector Train. I remember Jeff introducing this concept to us and eventually to our entire company, but like, what does it mean to be vector trained? When you're vector trained, well, the difference is, hey, when you go through experiences like this, vector trains your perspective. Right? Vector trains your perspective of, hey, you go through a tough time rather than talking about the easy things to talk about, which is all the things that happened and went wrong. You talk about what was the gift in that story. What did I take away? What was the lesson there for me? Where did I grow? rather than going into a pandemic, right? What does Vector Train look like? Vector Train looks like you go into a pandemic, the rest of the world's freaking out, and we're excited by the potential for new opportunity, right? That's what we're excited about. We're excited about the challenge of having to figure out something different. The power of perspective. That's Vector Trained. Vector Trained, I think about this, man, this is a throwback here. This is Eddie De Las Cuevas, for these guys know in Clearwater. This is back in 2016, I think, his first summer on the job. So this is him, I think, running his first phone jam in our office that summer, and he's got the my crappy handwriting on the board at the time, and that's us over there. And Eddie was just starting the job at this point. You know, he literally he just started first summer out the gates. You know, he was kind of in a, I won't share your whole story, Eddie, but not so hot time when he started the job that summer. And even my conversation with him, this has been like, hey, dude, this job was a savior for me. You know, this job like kind of came into my life right at the time when I needed it the most. And, you know, you fast forward 2-3 silver cups as assistant manager, Dom, record-breaking branch, his own personal branch, you know, all the work and impact that he's done at FSU in his time and tenure there. And now he's a Fullerton district manager. And I got a chance to get some time with him over in Clearwater. And it's exciting to see him build and grow and develop his own team. And we laughed because he was thinking about not becoming district manager this year, right? And I remember, I think Eddie said something along the lines of like 2020 is like, he's like, I feel like this is everyone's like the worst year of their life. Like this is my worst, like the best year of my life ever. You know, he talked about, hey, well, we could have gone DM next year, but, you know, glad we pulled the trigger a little bit earlier. And it's exciting and see him at one point in time, he was the one that was trying to get on the radar and trying to make some statements and make some moves and get on Jeff Gamboa's and get on my radar at the time. And it's exciting to see him flourish. This photo gave me some chills when I actually pulled it up. You know, again, I think about the power of 1 year. This photo was taken in January of 2019 at our year-end awards night. After our team, we're holding the number 3 there because that was our third national championship or our third silver cup out of Miami. Third time being the number 1 office in the country. And at that time, this is January 2019. So this is the team that sold with us. All these individuals are sales reps from 2018. So we'd all worked that summer. I was not a division manager yet. I was a district manager. Eddie was my district office manager at the time. Rob Rodriguez was one of our assistant managers. And I believe almost everybody else was a sales rep that summer. Just a sales rep from the actual summer. And to think, right, check this out. This is pretty cool. This is in 2019. This is in 2020. Right. So all different sales reps, right? Boom, 2020. So we have Alex Arias now, not at this time, hadn't even ran an office hadn't even ran an office. Literally now has run 2 branch offices and is a district manager. You know, Eric Palacio, district manager, Marley Lewin, branch manager, Max Starkey, assistant manager, Eddie De Las Cuevas, branch manager, district manager, Adrian Arredondo, district office manager, pilot sales manager. Roberto Rodriguez, 2 times branch manager, district manager. Julia Ortiz, assistant manager. Naomi Hasagawa, assistant manager. Amy Rod, 200K plus career sales rep, assistant manager. Alex Stanham, our assistant manager and now divisional content creator. And that's just from one photo, you know, and that's 1 year. This photo was taken in 2019, right? We're talking about a year and a half. But that's the power of 1 year. That's what I think about. Pretty crazy for those of you guys that are in that photo. You know, it's hard to imagine this, you know, at this point in time, but I think we all did. I think about, you know, 2 of, and I'll highlight, I know we got some top ranked nationally branches in the Florida Caribbean division, but I'll highlight two of our top 20 national branches this summer. I think they're both top 10, both, I think maybe finish off top 5. We'll see. But Jonathan Castell, and Mason Linker. By the way, okay, if you guys want a tip, find somebody that looks at food the way Mason Linker does. They look at you that way, you know, you'll be good. So, but Mason Linker, Mason, I got a chance to sit down with him. You know, I think about a 5-star college graduate, what that looks. You know, me and Mason are talking about where realistically he'll probably have an opportunity to graduate college, with 200 to 250K plus saved away, as a college student. We're talking about having maybe $250,000 saved by the time that he graduates college, and he's still been in a fraternity, and he still had fun, and he's still going to get good grades, and he's still going to graduate with his degree, and he's done all that while he's there. One of my favorite calls this summer was getting a call from Mason Linker, and he had an opportunity, and he's like, man, I just love working with my team. And, I honestly, I was getting pretty exhausted doing this every single day of the summer. It's a second time running an office. And he's like, dude, but honestly, I got a chance to talk to, one of the people on our team, and they just told me how much they appreciate and how much I'm impacting them, and do that. That's why I'm doing this. That lit me up. That was exciting for me. I think about Jonathan Castell and all of his 9 months of literally questions and battering me every single day, and his excitement to be a top performer, and him going out and doing exactly that. And it's been exciting to see. They're making a run. We'll see if they do a 1-2 finish here. And I think we're struggling behind the 1-2 for our Florida Caribbean team, sisters over there on the coast. And I also think about hey, cool, this is the power of 1 year. Power of 1 year is last year Mason was running his first branch. Jonathan was just an assistant manager in our office. I think about who's going to be the next one of these two, the next nationally ranked branches. And I got a chance to sit down with Jess, over in our Tampa team. And I think about the power of 1 year. Jess was, I think, September, right? This is 1 year ago. I just started the job a year ago. Right around this time, 1 year ago today, was just starting the position. And since forth has been one of the instrumental leaders in helping lead the Tampa to one of its biggest sales years in history, and one of the biggest sales years in history of the company, period. And she's been able to do that in 1 year. I think about the power of where she could be, 1 year from today. So, if you're excited about the opportunities that we provide, I think a lot of y'all know, and as we spoke about, we've been on a tour this past couple of weeks talking about our Leadership Academy. And so for those of you guys that get accepted, TLA, and now I'll kind of give you a little bit of a background for those of y'all that have not been to our SE2 conference or for recently started the job, but TLA is our Leadership Academy. And lots of companies have their own version of a leadership training program, a Leadership Academy. If you go to Nike, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, whatever, most places have some sort of leadership training program. That doesn't really make us unique. We're not unique because we have a leadership training program, but we are unique because we work with mostly 17 and 24-year-olds, and we are the #1 college recruiting company in North America. And that's what makes us unique, is because, in a time where students need it the most and where it impacts the trajectory of their lives the most, they're getting a chance and opportunity to learn skills and meaningful skills, like how to manage money, how to manage time, how to manage energy, other people, be it of influence, be a leader, and most importantly, how to manage yourself. And our TLA leadership program trains people to be able to take the leap. And that's the acronym that we have for becoming a branch manager, which is the LEAP stands for Leadership, Experience, Adventure, Personal Growth. And so many people that will get accepted into TLA this fall will begin their journey tonight of training and preparing to have the opportunity to run what is the premier opportunity inside of Cutco and Vector Marketing, is being a branch manager as a college student with Cutco. It's the premier income-making opportunity. It's the premier experience-driven opportunity. It's the premier, if you want to impact and help a lot of other people, it's the premier opportunity you can have for your resume. And I'm excited to see, hey, for you, maybe you have a light bulb here. What's the power of 1 year? Where could you be 1 year from today? Did you have a light bulb as we're going through that and been like, if I had the right training, if I had the right program, where could you be? What does 1 year from today look like for you? To wrap things up here, for some of you guys, you're graduating college in a year. You're graduating college in the next week or two, or finishing up strong here. Not next week or two, but next year or two. And you're finishing up school. And for those of you guys that are interested in some post-college opportunities, there's 2 opportunities that I typically like to share just so everyone's aware of outside of beyond our assistant manager and branch manager opportunities. The first one is our Cutco Sales Professional. So I think about if you really like to, if you like independence, if you like freedom, if you like flexibility in your schedule, if you like high amounts of income. The 2 things I typically have people write down for this one is high income and flexibility. Our CSP, our Cutco Sales Professional, is an independent selling opportunity where you can work with our realtor, our fair and show program. So these people do mortgage, work with mortgage brokers and loan officers to help create curated closing gifts for their clients. We have people that do our fairs and shows program. But these are the people, like, if you really have a love for the Cutco product and you enjoy selling it, or you enjoy being able to sell around a flexible schedule, this is a really cool opportunity. Most are making six figures, some, plus above that. And they have a really cool flexible schedule, which I think is the autonomy is what a lot of people oftentimes seek out. If you're interested in becoming a CSP, there is going to be an opportunity meeting. So I would let your specific district or branches managers know that in the next week, by the way, there's an opportunity meeting coming up here. So let your managers know if this is something that you want to be considered for, or maybe you've thought about, hey, what would it be like to be part of the realtor program or to do some of these more advanced type of opportunities, feel free to talk to your manager about that. And then for people that, like I said, district manager, this is what I have a strong passion and love for. Eddie's rocking his hand here right now. But that's our career position, and it can look like a couple different things. For some people, district manager is, a building a 8 to 10 year plus career here at Vector Marketing, and they're really establishing themselves here. For other people, it's like the Vector's MBA. At a lot of traditional MBA programs, you'll, on top of paying the, $50,000 or whatever it is, you'll do that for a couple years, but they usually have you do some sort of work studies program. If I'm going to school in Indiana, chances are they might send me out to Brazil or London to go work for a company during that for 6 months or for a year or 2 years while I'm getting my master's program or master's certification too. So this is kind of like getting Vector's MBA, except you don't have to pay for it. You get paid for it. And you're able to develop the skills and tenure while you're here. And maybe you're doing this for a couple of years out of your college graduation before you're moving into maybe the specific industry or field that you desire to go into too. For some people, it's just the next level 5-star experience. And as district managers, the two things that I write down for district manager, I usually tell people is, if you like to teach, impact, help others, like you like to coach, and like I said, if you like to build teams, coach, impact, and help others. Another thing I would write down probably for this is high income. Like the analogy that we give a lot of people is it's kind of like being a really high paid teacher. Is kind of what our district managers do. They're working and mentoring youth. They have opportunity to coach and work with them. And there's some other perks out there, like, free BMWs and things like that, which you guys probably didn't see much of this summer because we're all virtual, but everyone's driving them. Everyone loves them, and it's always good. And I really would think about what I want to leave you guys with this is where can I be 1 year from now, right? What's the power of 1 year from me? If 1 year from today, am I building a branch? Am I building a business for the first time? Am I running my second branch office? For our branches that are about to go out there on your second time, like what's going to be different this year? Are you just the same position, the same job title, showing up the same person? Or what's going to be the power that you can show up next summer when you're at this conference next year? Well, how are you feeling? How are you ending? How are you exiting the summer? And what's the future opportunities for you? I want to leave you guys with that. And I want to leave you all with, where could I be 1 year from now? Or what's your 2020 vision? And what's your 2020 vision for 2021 and beyond? Ladies and gents, let's have an awesome day. Let's have an awesome event. Let's be 100% engaged. And let's kick ass for the CFC. Thank you, ladies and gents.
Awesome. How about some claps and snaps and gangster dash for Mr. Andrew Evans? Thank you, sir. Hey, guys, real quick, take 30 seconds. Whether you're in a journal, whether it's in your laptop, and certainly on your group chats. What are some big explosive light bulbs for you? And, year after year, in some way, shape, or form, we talk about the same thing at this event. And this thing we talk about is your future opportunity. The vision for what can happen 1 year from now. And as you hear Mr. Evans go through his story, the thing I would want you to think about right now is, what's your story going to be? And where will you be? And what will you be able to talk about 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now? So take another 10 seconds. For those of you managers out there that have individuals with tech issues, feel free to let them back in. And for anyone that is just not engaged, we will be removing them from the chat here shortly. Okay, just a friendly reminder. Hey guys, if you take a look at the screen, and managers, we can feel free to screenshot this again if we need to. Let's do a quick reminder of the agenda today. And man, this is action-packed. And you'll notice again, it's personal and professional development driven. We're so excited. For those of you that aren't getting into TLA today, maybe that did not get an interview yet, ready? Maybe these topics get you excited enough to make a run and go for a late acceptance. And I'm really excited to see that. You hear Mike Abramowitz today on executive level time management. Mr. Luke Masega will talk about advanced selling skills. And of course, Andrew mentioned me talking about public speaking, things that will really help really as you move forward in your collegiate careers. Okay. So with that being said, before we go to break, we had some competition. We had a contest. In fact,